Hello everybody and welcome. My name's Don Arleth and it's time to take stock of all the developing stories today in Midday Report. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has sailed through two no-confidence votes in the European Parliament. As expected, despite the victory, von der Leyen will likely continue to face challenges to her leadership from both sides of the political spectrum. For more on this, let's go live to Brussels and our correspondent, Alex Cardier. Good afternoon, Alex. So, will this have been somewhat of a bittersweet victory for the Commission President?
Yeah, well, absolutely. It was actually quite a decisive victory for Ursula von der Leyen. Of the 361 votes needed to topple her and her commission, the first no-confidence motion put forward by the far right only got 179. The left, their no-confidence motion fared even worse, with 138 in favour. So clearly these challenges are running out of steam before they even left the station. But nevertheless, it is still a consistent challenge to Ursula von der Leyen's authority as European Commission President. It will be seen as a constant thorn in her side. Now, she will be heartened by the fact that clearly her centrist coalition in the European Parliament has rallied around her, has not abandoned her, as some feared they might. Frankly speaking, Don, there was really no expectations that either of these no-confidence motions would sail through. We've heard a criticism from the left saying that it was necessary to challenge Ursula von der Leyen's authority. An interesting perspective from a smaller centrist party, Volt, who said that, frankly speaking, these no-confidence motions are a bit of a waste of time. They are an abuse of the system to challenge the Commission President's authority, particularly as they are accusing those who have put them forward of knowing full well they would go nowhere. But nevertheless, this will be a thorn in Ursula von der Leyen's side when the European Union is facing any number of challenges, be it the war in Ukraine, a trade battle with the United States, a complicated relationship with China. These constant challenges remain a thorn in Ursula von der Leyen's side. But today, as you rightly said, Don, she completely sailed through.
Now, Alex, we've just heard in the last few moments that the Commission will also investigate allegations of Hungarian spying in Brussels. So what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, that was news breaking just in the last few moments before we came to air, Don. The Commission saying it will investigate allegations in a joint investigation by a German newspaper and a Belgian media outlet that Hungarian diplomats, master's diplomats, according to these allegations, were in fact trying to build contacts and trying to get information on European Union staff here in Brussels. Now, the allegations date back to 2015, 2017. That may seem like a long way away, but a crucial detail is that the ambassador for Hungary at the time was Oliver Varhelyi. He will be known here in Brussels because he is the European Commissioner for Health. That will put him in a very tricky spot, of course, if he knew that diplomats working in his embassy were in fact foreign intelligence officers for the Hungarian government. Now, the Commission said it takes these allegations very seriously and that it will investigate this. It will set up a working group to investigate these allegations, but an already tense relationship between Budapest and Brussels almost certainly will be made worse by these spying allegations. Don.
All right, Alex Cardier reporting there from Brussels. Thank you for that. The Polish president published a letter that he sent to Ursula von der Leyen, the head of the European Commission. In the letter, Nawrocki spoke of migration issues Europe is facing, highlighting that Poland is not open to resettling any illegal migrants into the country.
The letter, sent a few days ago, was published on Thursday, as the EU nears the deadline for unveiling its migration policy for the next year.
Poland will not comply with any decisions that could prove detrimental to its national security. Simply put, Poland will not welcome in any migrants. It is clear to all of us that this particular aspect of the EU Migration Pact will not apply to Poland.
Karol Nawrocki urged Ursula von der Leyen to focus on improving the migration issue Europe is facing at its source. He also highlighted the continued illegal migration attempts that Poland is struggling with, especially on its eastern borders, at the hands of the, quote, Moscow regime.
I agree that illegal migration is a problem that Europe has to tackle, but forcibly sending migrants back to countries of Central and Eastern Europe is not the solution. Migration is prompted primarily by the poor economic and security situation in African and Middle Eastern countries, and that is the challenge we should be focusing on, while at the same time protecting our citizens from illegal migration and its adverse consequences. Our joint mission should be first and foremost the securing of our borders and the fight against human traffickers.
The office of the president distanced Warsaw from what it deems as the source of the illegal migration issue.
Poland is not responsible for the mistakes of colonial policies on the African continent. We are also not responsible for mistakes made in the Middle East, so we cannot bear the consequences of these issues.
In the letter, President Nawrocki spoke of millions of refugees from Ukraine residing or transiting through Poland, announcing that Warsaw will not agree to any European initiatives aiming to relocate migrants into Poland.
And the Polish government is drafting major reforms to its citizenship law, with President Karol Nawrocki proposing to extend the required residency from 3 to 10 years. And the Interior Ministry planning a new citizenship test, tax residency rules, and stricter integration criteria. Our guest Piotr Maciej Kaczynski told us what's driving these changes and what they may look like in practice.
Well, this is all within a narrative of nationalistic anti-Ukrainian sentiment, which clearly President Nawrocki was elected on, and he's trying to deliver on the platform, and that's about it. Effectively, his law would make it impossible to get Polish citizenship because it would extend it to probably de facto to about 15 to 20 years, and that is a no-go. Under current rules, everybody who's going through that process says that on paper it's so short, but in realistic terms it's much longer, and it's closer to 8 to 10 years already right now.
Mm-hmm. And now to Ukraine. Recent Russian attacks have knocked out around 60% of Ukraine's natural gas production, according to media reports. This means that the country will have to import even more of the fuel, a precarious position given that it already spends a lot to defend itself.
What you see here is Russia trying to wear down Ukraine's economy. Burning containers in the Odessa region, the country's gateway to the world. Last week, Moscow also attacked gas fields in the Poltava and Kharkiv regions, destroying 60% of Ukraine's gas production.
Today, there was another Russian strike on our gas infrastructure. Just ahead of the heating season, the Russians are seeking ways to do more harm to our people. In this single strike against gas facilities, there were 35 missiles, including ballistic ones. It was a combined attack, and only half of the missiles were shot down.
Last year, Ukraine was able to cover most of its natural gas consumption with domestic production, supplanted with some imports. If the attacks continue, the country may be forced to buy 4.4 billion cubic meters, which will set Kyiv back by 2 billion euros. That's a significant amount for a country that needed to borrow almost 35 billion euros this year. Ukraine's energy minister has already said the country's working on increasing imports.
We plan to increase imports by around 30% if we manage to expand our import capacity. I think it's not that difficult to calculate in terms of prices, but it's hard to say the total amount right now. We are working with each partner separately to understand who can help us in which field.
In the first half of the year, Hungary was the top source of natural gas imports for Ukraine. Now, should the need arise, Poland alone can serve Ukraine with 4 billion cubic meters of gas.
The U.S. brokered ceasefire between Israel and Gaza will begin at noon on Thursday, with all hostages to be released within 72 hours. The ceasefire in the Gaza Strip will take effect in the evening after the first phase of the ceasefire agreement is officially accepted by the Israeli government, which is scheduled to meet at 6 p.m. On Wednesday night, U.S. President Donald Trump announced that Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a Gaza peace deal, according to which all the Israeli hostages, both living and deceased, are to be returned home.
This is Avishai David, father of Israeli hostage Evyatar David, who has been held hostage by Hamas for 2 years. Evyatar is expected to be freed under the latest agreement between Israel and Hamas, brokered by U.S. President Donald Trump. Avishai is counting down the days to see his son again.
Great excitement, tremendous excitement, even though for now it's only on paper, just signatures, nothing tangible yet. I want to see him, feel him, touch him.
Israel and Hamas have agreed to phase 1 of a deal to end the 2-year-long war in Gaza. President Donald Trump made the announcement on Truth Social, saying,
"This is a great day for the Arab and Muslim world, Israel, all surrounding nations, and the United States of America."
The deal would include the release of all remaining hostages in exchange for Israel's partial withdrawal from Gaza. EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas has stated that the agreement on the first phase of the Gaza peace plan marks a significant breakthrough.
This is a major diplomatic accomplishment and a real chance to end a devastating war and release all the hostages. The EU will do what it can to support its implementation.
Italy's foreign minister has also welcomed the progress and reiterated that Italy is ready to send troops if peacekeeping forces are needed.
Good news is coming from the Middle East. Peace is near. Italy, which has always supported the US plan, is ready to do its part to consolidate the ceasefire, to deliver new humanitarian aid, and to participate in the reconstruction of Gaza. It is also ready to send troops if an international peacekeeping force is created to reunify Palestine.
Palestinians in Gaza and other hostage families in Israel have been celebrating the breakthrough, which came after intense negotiations in Egypt. The 2-year-long war between Hamas and Israel has killed more than 67,000 people.
Thank God there was a final ceasefire deal, and we hope the ceasefire takes place, God willing, and we return, bring together our families, relatives and beloved ones, and set up tents to stay on top of the rubble of our houses.
The second phase of the original plan is to call for Hamas to quickly cede control of Gaza, turning its governance over to an international trusteeship overseen by the US and Arab allies. But it's unclear if those elements of the plan have been agreed to, and experts warn the conflict is far from over.
This is 2 deals put into one, essentially. The first one is a ceasefire and hostage and prisoner swap. The second one deals with Gaza's future and Gaza's governance, transition, disarmament, de-radicalization. And so what we saw announced tonight was specific to the release of hostages and Palestinian prisoners after long and arduous negotiations. I would personally venture out to say that the war is far from over and that we don't know what happens after this phase is over.
European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen commented the diplomatic efforts to reach a deal, saying it is the first step towards lasting peace.
Today's opportunity should be seized. It's the opportunity to forge a credible political path toward lasting peace and security, a path firmly anchored in the 2-state solution.
Of the 251 people taken by Hamas on October 7, 2023, there are believed to be 48 hostages still being held in Gaza, 20 of whom are thought to be alive. Their families can't wait to have them back and at home.
Hungarian novelist László Krasznahorkai has won the 2025 Nobel Prize in Literature, becoming the first Hungarian laureate in over 2 decades. The 71-year-old author and screenwriter is best known for his dark, complex novels such as Satentango and The Melancholy of Resistance, both adapted into films by his longtime collaborator, Hungarian director Béla Tarr. Krasznahorkai's dense, philosophical prose has earned him an international acclaim, including the Man Booker International Prize in 2015 and the National Book Award for Translated Literature in 2019. And that's all the time we have here on this Midday Report. Thank you for joining us, and stay with us for more here on TVP World.